Happy Friday. Welcome back to the Good Wife podcast. My name is Rachel. If you're new here, please consider subscribing and joining the Good Wife family. If you are not and you're regular, welcome back. I see your feedback, I see your comments, and I love them. I may not respond to all of them, but I love hearing back from you. So thank you for your comments. I'm back again with someone I said I was going to have on the channel very soon. If you follow me on Instagram, I talked about a book that I have been reading, Demystifying the Drama of Marriage, and I have the author in the building. Hi, Pendo.
Hi, Rachel.
Welcome to The Good Wife.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's so good to have you here.
I want to
go through how I discovered you. I'm always thinking about who I want to have on the channel. So I went online and I was looking through people who talk about marriage things. And no names were really coming up that I was interested in. And I'd made a promise to myself this year that I wanted to begin reading a bit more. Obviously, the areas that I would want to read in are marriage, because that's kind of the space that I'm in. Mm-hmm. So I went to mahiri.com and I'm looking at books, and I see some books from Ugandan authors, and your name came up. I said, Demystifying the Drama of Marriage, Pendo Galukande. I'm like, I've had this name somewhere. So I go online, found your YouTube channel, and then watched a talk that you did at Uganda Christian University. And the rest is history. I ordered the book, which I have been reading. And it has been very enlightening for me.
Thank you.
There's so much that I could relate with from your own journey, and we're going to get into that. So welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me.
Pendo is a couple, marriage, and family therapist.
Yes.
Yeah, and you're based in the US.
I'm based both places. I'm pursuing a PhD right now in the US in Michigan, and Uganda is home. So I'm 10 months there, or 9.5, and the rest of the time here.
You're here in Uganda.
Yes.
All right. We're blessed to have you.
Thank you.
So as a way to start, you said something before we came on the air that I want to pick up on. You were talking about your latest reflection on marriage.
Yes.
Would you like to share that with our audience?
Yes. I was just thinking about that this week.
Yeah.
That just because a relationship is hard or marriage is hard doesn't mean that it wasn't right for you.
Absolutely.
It's like your soul's journey. I think I've been reflecting more spiritually than scientifically. Your soul's journey may have needed that trial and that experience and that growth. Yeah.
I agree, and I feel like that gives me so much hope. Again, we were speaking earlier and saying how every couple, maybe mostly the women, go through, did I make the right choice? Yeah, did I pick the right person?
Yes.
Because the trenches in marriage can sometimes be, really, really tough.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think we all go through that phase where we're asking ourselves, maybe because it's tough, I don't think I made the right choice, because other people seem to be figuring it out.
Absolutely. Yeah. I definitely did come to those places where I'm like,
maybe not.
I was so sure then.
Now, not so much.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. I think the other thing that we spoke about that I feel like will be necessary for our conversation today is how it's important to educate ourselves.
Oh, yes.
And I think marriage is one of those areas where we rely solely on love and feelings.
Yes.
And there'll be that one or two people in your camp who'll say, but Pendo, are you sure about this guy? And then we'll quickly dismiss that person because they don't know what they're talking about.
This is like one of the hardest things you're going to do in life, or we are going to do in life. And the preparation is like...
it's wanting.
The least preparation. This is harder than business.
Absolutely.
And for businesses, we prepare and prepare. For our careers, we prepare years, decades. Some people are lucky that they're raised in the right family and the ingredients are there and kind of strike gold that way. But for the majority of us, I think a relationship school is needed. I think we should change the trend and instead of doing this rushed, is it 6
3
weeks
months,
of
yes.
marriage counseling.
Mm.
Yeah. The foundation has already been laid by
Yeah.
that time. It's just too late.
That's true.
It's too late.
That's very true.
Yeah.
I would like to pick your brain on what the ideal marriage counseling would look like. Have you thought about that?
I'm thinking a counseling that starts years before.
Okay.
Maybe I would I would actually think before you even get into the
Meet.
relationship.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
If you're out there not yet in a relationship, now is the time to do
Start
the
the
work.
counseling.
Yes.
Yeah. Do the work on yourself.
Do the work on yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
The work is internal and that work can be done.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So your book.
Yes.
Usually when we write books or start YouTube channels, it's because we have an experience. We've come from somewhere. So
Yes.
what inspired you to write this book? Yeah.
Okay. How much time do we have? Because I can talk.
You can talk all day. No, please.
I have to zoom us back. Zoom us back into I've always been that type of person that loves relationships.
Okay.
And I fall in love and I'm swept off my feet and
yeah.
everybody knows about my handsome, gentle Moses. And, he proposes, we get married, we have the time of our lives. And everybody used to talk about marriage being hard. I'm like, yeah.
You guys don't
Those
know.
guys who got the wrong people,
Me
they're
on
the
the
ones
other
that struggle. Me, it's going to be different.
Yeah.
And honestly, it was heaven on earth for me.
Yeah.
For a good while. And then, man, things started to get difficult. And I turn around, ask other people, hey, it's difficult. It's difficult. It's difficult. It's difficult. And I start really reading a lot about marriage. And I was in pain myself and struggling. And eventually, we had talked about me doing further studies.
Yeah.
But I was not too keen. It was more of Moses' idea for me to do further studies. And then I told him there's only one area I'm really interested in doing further studies in. That's marriage and family.
Okay.
And I know where I want to do it. It's a university in the States, Regent University. And when I got there, like every class, I already had questions, There are things I need to understand.
Yeah.
And I get there and I start to hear things I'd never heard. As an avid reader, I'm like, how is this information not yet reached Uganda, Africa? How? And I wanted to bring everybody that was struggling to my classes. I was so excited. And I was like, it's not possible. So what's the next best thing? I always ask myself, what's the next best thing? That's how I live life. And I thought, I'll put the most critical information in a book.
In a book, yeah.
And at least if somebody can buy the book, they will have the information, the critical information that they need.
Yeah. And I mean, before we started the show, I was telling you about the parts of the book that made sense to me. The attachment styles, which I had been seeing online, because anyone who does any internet searching, you will see attachment styles somewhere.
Yes.
I always thought, those don't apply to me. If I go there, I might discover things and I don't know if I'm ready to deal with them.
Yeah.
Let me just focus on what I know now about myself. But back to educating yourself on marriage and on the things that you're doing. So whether it's parenting, how to be a wife, in your context, because I feel like there's the overarching how to be a wife, but how does it fit within Pendo's story and your background and your upbringing and your personality and combine all of that to then make Pendo a good wife.
Yes.
A good wife for Moses, not
exactly.
not for anybody else. So I really, really would encourage everyone to buy the book, but we'll talk about that at the end of the show. So you've been very open about like your differences, the challenges that you had, in your marriage. What would you say was some of the recurring patterns or drama that you and your husband experienced, and maybe how did it affect your relationship?
Right. The biggest pattern really for me, my pain point was a feeling of loneliness.
Okay.
Within the marriage. And for him, maybe it was a feeling of claustrophobia. Like, I'm clinging too tightly and I want him there and he's needing, to spread his wings and fly and to be out there. And I am needing, no, I want you to be near me and comfort me and all that. And that became a huge pattern. Like, I am pursuing him. Like, you've talked about attachment style. So I assume that the audience is very familiar with the pursuer and the withdrawer or the avoidant person. And so I'm a strong pursuer in our relationship.
Dynamic,
yes, in our dynamic. Some people have who may be friends of mine watching may think, no, you're not. In my dynamic with Moses, I am the pursuer. And he is the withdrawer. And that was so painful for me. I did not understand it at all. So going to school and learning this, and it's a whole language of attachment, really. We're constantly sending signals to our loved ones, and they send signals back. And if you are not getting your person, you end up in the distress as if you're threatened by death. That is why it's so painful. In our brains, attachment is coded as a matter of life and death. Because this is how our little ones, how we survived when we were little. If I can attach to mom, when the lion comes, she will not leave me behind.
Absolutely.
So it's a very vital thing that we attach. And anything that threatens that bond gives you a large feeling of unsafety in your body. You just feel like, this is painful. Yeah, and the body releases chemicals that create pain, and you really are in pain.
I want to pick a little bit on your background, if you're okay to share that. How would you say you arrived at being a pursuer? Because I don't think it's just your personality or how you were created. I think there were things that happened as you grew up that then led you to becoming pursuer in your dynamic.
Good question and good point. According to science, we are not 100% sure that it's only factors. Anyway, human beings are so complex that a lot of things come into one's journey to become pursuer or avoidant. But I lost my parents when I was very little. And especially my mom. I was very, very close to my mom. And because we were tight, I had tasted what it was like to have a secure emotional bond. For those who are, again, when we refer to attachment styles, secure attachment is one of the key things that one needs growing up. And then she died. It was a sudden death in a car accident. Well, after a car accident, she lived for a day. And in that bond was ruptured. It just was broken so suddenly. And nobody understood the pain and the angst I was in, the devastation, because I froze on the outside. So I wasn't crying. I was 6 years old. And the grown-ups around me just did not understand. They thought she hasn't understood.
Or that you're too young.
Yes. So if we keep quiet, she'll be fine. She will forget. So what was a lot of pain and a need to be comforted and a need to grieve then went underground.
Buried.
So I think that's when I started just to be anxious about love. And then eventually my sister leaves, my brother leaves, and I think a few other things that happened in my home growing up made so that I started to think that love leaves.
Oh, wow.
And that, the nervous system, by the way, stores all those memories, like that shock of your mom leaving suddenly. Because the nervous system doesn't know. Did she die? Did she just walk out? Did she whatever? No,
she left.
She left. She's not. She used to be here. She's no longer here
anymore.
Period. And so I think that once my relationship with Moses became an attachment relationship, once we bonded, then I became very anxious about him leaving. Yeah.
Even though you were not saying it often, like you're not clinging onto his pants and saying, "I know you're going to leave me." Like it's not
No.
manifesting like that.
No, it's just a feeling of anxiety even when he's going to work. I mean, like today he's going to Nairobi, and I felt a little bit of that. Anxious of you
Will he
leaving me
come back?
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in my head, I know he's coming
coming
back.
back.
We've planned the weekend,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. But it's just a feeling of loss. And I think it's just that memory of that feeling of great loss, of losing my mother.
I mean, it definitely speaks to the value of having a parent in your life. And obviously, we don't really have control over our parents staying in our lives, whether by death or by divorce, like we're seeing in our society today, or, abandonment.
Absolutely. And there are parents who abandon us while being there physically.
Yes.
Yes.
Maybe that's even worse.
Yeah. They're there, but they're not engaged.
Yeah. And so that secure attachment is not created. Yeah. Okay. A big part. So let's talk about the attachment styles, because I know we keep referring to them. For those who are unfamiliar with attachment styles, what are they, or how did discovering, let's talk about what they are very briefly, and then how did discovering yours shift the way you related with your husband?
Okay. Very briefly, for a person who's just browsing, there are two major categories of attachment styles. And attachment, let's reel back actually to say, what is attachment? It's just this formation of an invisible bond with someone. And that bond is one of care, mutual comfort, affinities, like, you're affectionate. And if I ask anybody, who are you attached to? Who are the two people that you love, and just love being around? We can think of those people we have a bond with. And they may not be the people that you spend the most time with, by the way.
Not necessarily.
Yes. But you get a feeling of calm and safety when you're with them.
Yeah.
So that's what we're talking about, that those bonds with people, our bonds with other people, fall in two categories. Either they're secure and we get a sense of safety and peace when we are with them, or they're insecure and we are triggered into some sort of unsafety. Those are the two. Now, for secure ones, there's only one type of secure bond, at least at the moment with science. But for the insecure, we have three different types. So there are the people who are anxious, then there are the avoidant, and then there are those who are mixed. A mix of the anxious and the avoidant. Okay. Yeah. And usually we say those people went through trauma. Actually, I used to think that I was more of anxious, but now I think I'm more of a mix.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that I have my moments of withdrawing.
Okay. Is that learned over time?
I think it was there.
Okay.
I think it was there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when you have an avoider who is more avoidant than you, then you pursue a bit harder.
Yeah. Okay, so how did you discover your attachment style, and then how did it change how you relate with Moses?
So for me, discovering was so easy. I mean, I took a class. It was couple therapy, and we were taught three couple therapies in that one. And one of the couple therapies was emotionally focused therapy, which just focuses on the pursuer avoidant, pursuer withdrawer. And it was so easy for me. Just reading the literature, I'm just like, I don't need to take the test. I
know where I fall.
I know where I fall. But for those who want to take the test, I highly recommend Thais Gibson's Personal Development School.
Okay.
www.personaldevelopmentschool.com. And she has a test on there. It's free, and it will give you a profile, not just I'm all, anxious or I'm all this. It will tell you this, you have this percentage secure, this percentage whatever. And our styles that mix will be modified over time.
I agree.
Like we were talking earlier. Yeah. Maybe we are more secure now as we grow.
For sure.
Yeah, but how has that knowledge impacted me? I now have words And words are important,
They
Rachel.
are. I agree.
Being able to name something
Yeah.
is so important.
Yeah.
I think it was Pastor Grace Lubega who said that you can't build a skyscraper in Luganda. There are no words.
There are no words.
For this angle and that, that elevation. There are no words. So there are things that we can't really have that conversation and resolve because we don't have the words.
Yeah.
We don't even know what we are experiencing, what we are feeling. I can't express to you.
It.
So how do you get to that depth without the language? So it has given us the language. It has given me just the ability to communicate to Moses my need, my vulnerability, and it's given him an opportunity to reach me.
Yeah.
But even for him, and he is maybe still on the journey, I mean, a little bit behind the journey, I would say, because I am the one in class, in school, pursuing this professionally. But he's doing so well. He also, I can now kind of put two and two together and say, is this how you're feeling? And it's so good, so good, Rachel, to be able to for him to say, actually,
you're right. Yeah, that is how I'm feeling.
Yes, and it's just like both of us are like, oh, I'm so sorry. I can now meet your need.
Yes.
Yeah, before it was so scrambled, the signal was so scrambled, I didn't know that that's what you were doing or that's what you were about. So it's really released us to a much more beautiful, deeper space that is hard to come by without the language.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like putting into words what you are feeling.
What you're feeling, what you're
and
needing.
Why.
Yes, all that.
And why?
Starting to make sense to each other.
Yeah. I think for me, and I like to tell people that I often have meetings with myself. Again, for me, this book, like you put a language to what I do. So the introspection, the reflection is for me to be able to identify the feeling and maybe the root of it. Where is it coming from and why am I feeling this way?
Yes.
Sometimes I'll even go like a mile further and say, where did this come from? Why do I feel insecure about this thing? Why do I feel anxious when my husband says A, B, C, D, E? And for me, just knowing is like half the battle.
Absolutely.
It's like half the battle. I'm like, okay, I get it. I can put words to it. Therefore, I know how to express it. And then I also know how to ask for what I need.
Yes. Yeah. That is such a huge skill to know yourself and to ask for what you need.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And so I wanna pivot a bit here because we're both Christian. And this attachment styles and whatever can sound very technical.
Yes.
And maybe even wildly uncanny for some people.
Yeah.
And I want to ask how you have managed to reconcile your faith and this journey in learning attachment styles and how you reconciled your faith and what you are studying and maybe how the two came together to create change in your marriage.
Yeah. For the biggest part, a part of me was first of all disappointed, not with God, but disappointed with a type of Christianity we've created, which does not acknowledge those pains that we have in intimate relationships.
Yes.
Where you come to church and clap louder and sing higher and
say it to your neighbor.
Why are you not happy? God, Jesus died for you. Be so happy. I'm like, no, I am in pain.
I'm in pain.
And Jesus died for me is not taking away
the pain.
I am in pain.
Yeah.
And I'm very passionate about pastors becoming skilled in marriage and family.
Oh, yeah.
And we've done some little training and we targeted pastors because this is where the average Ugandan person is going to go when they get marital problems.
Yeah.
So I'm like, no. This is where we need to. So after the disappointment and all that, I started to look at attachment and realize this was God's design. But the bigger attachment is actually an attachment to God.
Yes.
Knowing that I am secure in God.
In
When you
God,
think
yeah.
of God, do you panic? Is God that headmaster with a stick? Or is God the loving Father? And unfortunately, many times how we've experienced our parents is how we're going to experience God and have this image of Him. So my relationship with God was also going through a transformation of more of the loving, present, unabandoning
God and Father.
Father.
Yeah.
And I had felt abandoned by Him in some respects, in some places of my marriage. I felt like, no, you were sleeping on the job. I mean, you
I would
couldn't
not
have
be
let,
suffering.
yeah, couldn't have left me
Yeah.
to. But I had to reconcile with God first. And for me, that's a big part that as human beings, we need to reconcile and find that He is a secure person to have a relationship with. And if there are any things that you battle it out, He's not afraid of your anger and your disappointment, that you have it out with Him.
Yeah.
And that relationship too. So for me, it's been a repair of several relationships, including the relationship with God. Yeah.
I like that you say our, I guess, first secure attachment should be with God. I think that you're right in with the way we relate with our parents will sometimes inform how we relate with God.
Yeah.
And if there's been dysfunction there, chances are there's going to be dysfunction here. We'll think about God who leaves people, who abandons, and yet, His word says that He doesn't leave. He will never leave you nor forsake you.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes it's difficult to reconcile faith and how do I help myself to get better in the marriage. As I read your book, I was like, she went on a quest. So for you, it was attachment styles and learning and studying. For me, I took the route of God is what kind of brought different perspective. So my journey was I tried everything that I knew how to in terms of dealing with my husband.
Yeah.
None of it was working. Talk properly, communicate your feelings. I felt like I was communicating,
Yes.
and he just was not seeing my point of view the way I would have wanted him to see it. And so it caused a lot of frustration within our marriage until I got to a point where I was just exhausted. Like I've tried everything.
Burnt out.
Burnt
Pursuer.
out. That's
Yes,
it.
yes.
Like
That's
nothing
what we
seems
call
to be
it.
working. And I always felt like, this is noble. I'm doing it for the good of the marriage. I want my marriage to succeed. He doesn't seem to share that vision with me.
Yes.
And so for me, it was fixing my relationship with God first that kind of gave me perspective in dealing with my husband. And you talk about empathy and forgiveness for your husband at some point in the book. And I hope that you can talk about how you came to empathy. I don't want you to give away too much because I want people to read the book.
Yes.
But I think that it's important to secure that relationship with God, but it's also important to educate yourself, and learn what you can about yourself.
Yes.
And then how yourself can then be a better spouse or a better partner in your relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a woman is watching you today and they're like, oh, she looks like she's figured this thing out with attachment styles. How can she identify her attachment style? I think you talked about a test.
Yeah.
And then why is self-awareness very crucial in a marriage? Because again, like I said, when we get into marriage, it's almost like we have come to fix the marriage, and in fixing the marriage, we'd like to fix the other person.
Yes.
Very rarely are we looking at
Fixing
ourselves.
Yeah.
So speak to how somebody can understand what the attachment style is, and then why self-awareness is very important.
Like I said, Thais Gibson, Personal Development School, go there, take the test, and they'll give you a whole couple of pages actually to explain what does it mean when they say you have this percentage of anxious attachment and this percentage avoidant and blah, blah, blah. and how you're likely to behave in intimate relationships. So it gives you a little bit of a prediction.
Okay.
This is how you're going to be. So it kind of preempts. My husband and I were talking about this last night, and he said, if you had asked, I think you mentioned drama. Why the word drama? And he said there's an element of surprise in the conflicts that come in marriage, and if there wasn't that surprise, it wouldn't be drama. And I was like, no. You can know that something is coming and it is still drama. And he was like, no, it is because we don't know. So, and then he used this proverb, "Echijo manyi chinyaga bitono," something like that. Yeah. And he was really convinced me, actually, in the end, that it's this not knowing that this drama is coming.
Is that for the men though? Is it the men who are more likely to be caught by surprise?
Aren't we caught by surprise, Rachel?
Yes,
are you not caught by surprise with this drama in marriage?
In the long haul, it's like, is this supposed to be as dramatic?
I did not expect
drama,
any difficulty in marriage.
Really?
No.
You chose well.
I chose well. Yeah. I have done my homework. I've been a good girl. I am not expecting any drama. I'm supposed to get fruit only.
Okay. Yeah. No, I get that.
So for me, so what about for you?
I mean, when you put it that way, I think the way I had understood it is if there's like a quarrel brewing or conflict that is tension, that someone is caught by surprise. Like, why is she angry? Or why is she upset about, A, B, C, D, E? Like, it's common sense, like the men like to say, it's logical.
Yes.
While for us, there are all these thoughts going on in our heads. I think that's the kind of surprise that I was thinking about.
Right.
But when you talk about not expecting drama, absolutely. I remember when we were about to get married, and I talk about this a lot, Ben and I would meet people and they would make comments like, "Oh, you're so in love. Let's give you 6 months. We'll check in."
No.
And I'll be like,
what?
Ben and I'll be like, these guys, they have bad marriages. They're projecting their bad marriages on us. So I think they were looking at it from the point of, you all start out okay, you all start out happy and in love. And then the reality of marriage hits. We're like, nah, we're going to be okay.
We're going to be fine. Nah. Yes. And now we've forgotten your question.
Why self-awareness is important in marriage.
Yeah. I think if you anticipate where to begin, let me go back. I think one of the big things in marriage is knowing yourself well enough to give yourself away.
Okay.
So if you don't know yourself, how are you going to help this other person? And how are you going to, it's just somewhere I read that the best teacher has the best marriage. As in knowing yourself so well that you teach the other person
about
yourself.
Oh, wow.
So you really need to get intricate with, yourself and be at peace and there's harmony on this land, on this, in this internal world. So honestly, for many of us, we'll need a lot more than, at least I had trauma. So going through trauma therapy was so helpful, important and critical, because our bodies remember those painful moments and those dramas that happened outside us seem to go inward. And at the right opportune moment, they come out and show up. Yes. And this is why we were saying family tree. You draw the family tree and you see dramas repeating themselves in families. So it's so important to not only understand what dramas you have internalized, but also what dramas played out in your world and in the larger family.
Yeah.
And once you understand those, just partnering with your spouse, your partner, to navigate and to understand and to extend grace, empathy.
Yeah. That's very, very important. And I think even as we speak about that, it's important to talk about background, upbringing, and how those silently affect the marriage and shape the way we show up. I mean, just like you were saying, in marriage. So it's the things that have happened to like your siblings and then your relatives, you know, your aunties, uncles, blah blah blah.
Yes.
And then maybe the question to you is how do we break those unhealthy patterns? So yes, I know that maybe there are several divorces in my family, or several a lot of dysfunction in my larger family, and then maybe I experience dysfunction in my immediate family. Like, how do I then break that pattern and start to show up in a healthy way within my marriage?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Great question. And let me answer it this way. It seems like all the dramas disrupt the emotional system, the emotional experiencing and expression system. It seems like that's the point, at least as far as I've studied now, and this is the area that I focus on. It seems that that's the system that is disrupted.
Yeah.
So there could be 10 different things that happened in the wider family, but hitting at the same system. So one of the key things is to bring you back into proper emotional regulation, that you can have the full range of emotions. You can be happy and giddy and, you know, excited, and you can be sad and express that, and, you know, and all the ones in between, embarrassment, whatever, you know, all of those, confidence, pride, the full range. But usually what happens with trauma is that we develop a very narrow range of emotions. And so people relate to us from this range, and we don't have this, you know, the full range. So many times the part that we knock off is the vulnerable emotions, especially in relationships. And once you don't feel safe, you don't show your weak side. You don't show your weak side because you're afraid that they'll hurt you.
Yeah.
And yet, for them to be kind to you, they need
to
to
let
see
them
your
in.
weak side.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so they're relating to us from this side because the hostility, the strength, the power, that's all we're showing them. And so, you know, fire for fire. That's what we're exchanging in marriage, power struggle.
Yeah.
But if you could show this side, oh, I'm hurting.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm insecure.
Yeah.
Then they, you know, they want to protect
step
us.
up and protect
you know,
you,
your husband
yes.
wants to protect you and to
Yeah.
look after you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's sounds counterintuitive.
Yes.
That if I show my weak side, that might actually draw us closer.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And we say we can't. In therapy, we are not letting you show your weakness before we make sure that it's safe. The other side.
Okay.
So sometimes we are working with the other person to make sure, you know, balancing the boat, so that by the time you show your weakness, someone's going to hold you. Because if you show your weakness and then the other person's not ready to hold you, it's even a bigger betrayal or letdown.
That's so true. That's so true. I want to ask, sorry, there are questions that are popping in my head and I hadn't shared them with you.
Okay.
You can ask.
That's fine.
So therapy
Yes.
is something that has been recommended to couples, and just something that you said now that made me think about how if I have conflict with my husband and I feel that therapy is important or would help us, but my husband feels differently. Well, let me flip it. He feels therapy would be important, but I feel differently. What does a couple do in that case, especially when you're dealing with things like I want to be able to be vulnerable, I want to be able to show up in my marriage and show up with my wide range of emotions, but the other person is not willing to come to therapy. So we have scenarios like that where couples, something has happened, let's say infidelity.
Yes.
And they're saying, go to therapy.
Yeah.
But the person who has brought infidelity in the marriage is saying, I don't want to go to therapy.
Right.
As a therapist, what would you advise someone in a scenario like that to do?
Yeah. The first thing is empathy.
Okay.
To really see the pain of that person who they are in pain. They're the victim or, you know, the one who's been done wrong. And at the same time, they're willing to do the work. and they feel like their person isn't coming. And just first of all, anybody that's watching, so much, so much empathy for you and what you're going for. And, if I could give you a hug,
I know.
I'm sending it
I'm
out.
sending a hug,
I'm sending it out. Secondly, I say it's still worthwhile to go to therapy by yourself.
Okay.
Upskill yourself. The truth is, infidelity may have been done by that person, but it's very much a dynamic within the relationship that also creates infidelity.
Okay.
Yeah. The dynamic normally also contributed something. I'm not here to blame anyone, but to say that you can upskill once you upskill yourself. So I sometimes say it this way, that if you're baking a cake and you buy some eggs, but they're rotten and, and then all the other ingredients are good,
Okay.
the cake is going to be
to
off.
be.
So the two ingredients you need for a good marriage is a healthy, full range of emotion, wife, healthy, full range of emotion and spirituality, male, and put them together and you're going to get something beautiful.
Good.
So if you can't change this side, do everything to
On
put
your
the
side.
highest quality,
Yeah.
yourself into the marriage.
Yeah.
And I think that once you change, you go back into the relationship and the other person is forced to change. I think that's what happened to us.
Yes.
That I was getting so skilled in certain areas that I'd go back into the marriage and I'm no longer responding in the predictable way. And so maybe I was strong, and now I show some vulnerability.
Sorry.
And he then starts to respond to the vulnerability. And then we have a different conversation, So the conversation started changing. But also, I think I became less threatening. And I'm hopeful that with anyone that will go into therapy, that you're going to get a level of emotional regulation that will impact this relationship. And at some point then, Moses wasn't ready to come to therapy. He'd seen enough evidence of,
Something happening over there.
Something's happening.
Yeah.
He was among those who thought talking to a stranger
there's
our problems.
There's no way. If we can't fix our problems,
how can a stranger
going to fix them?
How can talking about bad things to another person help the situation? It's like you're expounding and expanding the problems. So So eventually there was enough change that he was convinced. So do go to therapy. I highly recommend it.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. I think the thought, again, back to what you were saying on that feeling in marriage where if your partner is not responding the way you want them to respond, it feels like a matter of life and death.
Yes.
And so now if something has happened and therapy is going to help us, and this person is saying no to help, that must feel like you're being dunked into a pool, like die.
Yes,
You're already dying, but die some more.
Die some more. Yeah. Really
so no,
hard.
that's definitely helpful. I like the idea of upskilling so that you're sure that on your end everything is, and if there's enough evidence and you're not responding in the way that you used to respond, then chances are your person is going to see that there's actually some change going on and will want change for themselves.
Yeah, and there. Let me be fair to people. There's some relationships that will end.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's some relationships that will end. But before you get to that place, and you have an opportunity to go to therapy, go to therapy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, do it for yourself. Do it for your children. Do it for our emotional and mental well-being. Impacts everything.
It does.
Everything. Everything you're going to build in life comes from your mental and emotional health. So do it for yourself.
Absolutely. All right. I would like you to speak to another individual who feels stuck in a pattern of conflict, misunderstandings. I don't know if you experienced this in your marriage. You probably did, where you were just fighting all the time. And it's almost like there were little, what do they call them? Mines. They're not mines. those like grenades, okay, or that every time you stepped on something, it's like
Yes.
there would be an explosion
Yeah.
or tension, in the home. And there are many people who feel stuck in these cycles and in these patterns, but they're not sure about how to begin to shift the narrative in their marriage. What would be a good starting point?
Okay.
Yeah.
First of all, a good starting point, and this is my husband's son who sent me to say this.
Oh, okay.
It is normal.
Oh, okay.
It
That's
is
good.
normal.
Yeah.
You are just
Yeah.
normal. You are average. This is part of the bonding process.
Okay.
Is that you'll get to this part where you're triggering each other. You'll start off in this honeymoon stage, then you'll get to this. Even with group formation, there's the norming and storming and what other things.
Yeah.
So with relationships, there's going to be the dream stage, and then there's going to be the drama. And this drama is important to really get to know each other in deeper ways.
Yes.
And yeah, it is there for you to get to the next stage.
Yeah.
But you found yourself in this pattern of conflict. And so once you know that you're normal, if you can afford to go to therapy, go to therapy.
Yeah.
If you cannot afford to go to therapy, read. You can read books.
Yeah.
You can watch YouTube videos.
Like this one.
Yes, you can watch The Good Wife with Rachel Mwinde. You can go to church, receive prayer, receive counsel. You can find a couple that's older than you. Go there. Go there. You're going to need to do one thing that comes out in all these. You're going to need to forgive. What do they say? 70 times, 7 times in the Bible?
One. Yes. Many times.
You're going to need to become an expert at forgiveness. And I'm passionate about good forgiveness. Heartfelt forgiveness.
Okay.
Not decisional, not only decisional forgiveness.
So from the heart.
Emotional forgiveness. Forgiving from the heart, like the Bible says. Going to need to become really good at that. Yeah.
Okay. So it's normal. I like that.
Normal.
I think
for
any couple that's going through, again, back to what we were saying, that you didn't choose wrong.
No.
It's not an indicator of your choice. Not necessarily, yes. So it's normal, and then, find a space where you can receive help or healing.
Receive help.
And just talk through what is going on in your home, again, to emphasize the narrative that it is normal. There are the other people who are kind of dealing with the same things, maybe in different forms, manifesting differently. Before I ask you my final question, and before we kind of talk a little bit about the book, I want to ask about empathy, especially empathy towards someone who you feel like is not pulling their weight in the marriage. With the knowledge and background that we all come into this marriage with things, with baggage, and there's a part in your book where I read where you finally came to understand why Moses was behaving the way he does. Again, from his upbringing, and he's a firstborn, right? And it was such an aha moment for you, and maybe the value in, I understand myself a little bit. Let me now spend some time being curious about my person, not to try and be romantic, but like to just understand, why is he like this? Maybe the kind of family he grew up in, what was his upbringing like? And how that kind of informs the man that he is.
Right.
So why is that important? And then what was the role of empathy in getting you and Moses to where you are today?
Okay.
By the way, how long have you been married?
27 years.
Woo! Wow. That's a long time.
Yes, it is a long time.
27 years. Okay.
I'm sure older than some people here in this room.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah. So let me phrase it like this. I think that there's a lot of lack of empathy for the male folk. Let me just say that.
I agree.
And it didn't start in the marriage.
No.
It is a societal wide thing that when you're little and there's a brother and a sister. The sister is getting more hugs and kisses and whatnot, and the little boy falls on someone. At some point, is going to say, "You're a boy.
Man, don't cry.
Don't cry. Figure it out."
You know?
And there'll be a little bit more protection if you're both walking home from school. Yeah, you should manage when you're the boy, and when you're a girl, no, we'll come and pick you. And they stayed out late. Dad is up waiting for the girl to come back late. The boy. And a certain way that we actually show them that they're on their own. I have come to develop a huge empathy for men growing up in this current world of ours, that we actually neglect them emotionally and then get into marriage and expect them to be the ones giving emotionally. You're the one who is getting on one knee and proposing, and it's very romantic, whatever, and then you're taking me out to date nights, and you're buying the roses, and it's not the women buying the roses,
No, it's the men.
Meanwhile, they've been deprived for decades
of that emotional.
Decades. They are starved of love. Are we then surprised when they,
But we are surprised. In fact, we demand.
No, when they go on a rampage sexually and pornography and what, they have been deprived of closeness from a very young age. And they're hungry for love. Many of them have never been loved, because somehow our African culture then adds on another layer of, you should be able to fight a lion. Okay, no, it's no longer fight a lion, but that sentiment is still there of grow up.
Be a man.
And yet all human beings need comfort, they need care, they need tenderness, and all that. So for this boy who's been deprived, he's come into the marriage hungrier. This is my hypothesis now. Hungrier for love than the woman. So empathy is about understanding the journey of your particular spouse. It may not, your husband may not be like that, Maybe he's the one who was kissed and loved and nurtured and all that. And instead it's you who's lacking, So understanding that particular journey of the heart kind of helps you to get the posturing of this person now in marriage. This is what I'm saying. Many times we don't have the language. Language. But once you manage to somehow have that conversation and now, you've upskilled yourself, you know where they are, you're going to start to look out for when they come home. How are they really? Can you stay with that? There's a whole universe on the inside of a person. You know how there's a universe, there's a world, and there are so many planets, and there's so much to learn about the outside. Each human being has an entire universe on the inside. And guess what? That universe is changing every day. So every day is a quest to learn what is the internal state of this person. That is empathy. Just accurately understanding, how do they feel on the inside? How are they really? How is their heart? How are these emotions? What are their thoughts? What is stressing them? And then meeting them with kindness. But you can't give away empathy when you haven't given it to yourself. So for anyone out there who wants to be more empathic to their spouse, I say start with yourself.
Start with yourself.
Go in that journey. Therapy is a good place to start. If you can't do therapy, there's so many good books that you can do. There's so many online courses that you can do to have empathy for yourself. And as you have empathy for yourself, you then start to have empathy for those around you, and hopefully especially for your spouse.
Absolutely.
So you'd asked me, of course, a multi-question, but let me pause there for you to add something.
I feel like you've answered it very well. I wasn't even focusing on the male, but I like that you focused on them. And I know you might get some blowback from the women.
Yes.
Why is it always about the men?
Is it? Has it always been about the men on the channel?
No. I mean, just generally on social media, anywhere you talk about men, women are going to be like, every time men this, men that, husbands this, husband. What about the women?
Yes, yes,
And
yes.
I mean, I really relate to what you were saying. Just recently, I was sitting in the living room and I just thought about my husband. And I get these surges from time to time. I call them surges. They're just little moments where I feel a deep sense of empathy for my husband. And that's in spite of like the things he does. I mean, he's not perfect.
Yes.
And he will annoy me from time to time.
Yes.
But there are moments, and I feel like they're divine, honestly. I feel like God allows
God
me to
speaks to you.
experience that empathy. Sometimes it lasts like a day. Sometimes it lasts just a small moment where I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I wonder how he is. I wonder how he's doing. And usually I'll try and act towards that feeling.
Yes.
Because I want to leverage it. If I let it pass, I can let it pass and go back to my default wife mode.
Yes, yes.
But I really do hear what you're saying. And I like that you put it into the context of not just marriage, but from when they are growing up and how they are in school and how they are in the workplace. And then in marriage, we have all these expectations. He's supposed to be romantic. He's supposed to pour into my emotional bank.
Yes.
And his is completely depleted.
Yeah.
And
I would like to say, let's balance the boat.
Please.
Let's balance the boat for the women.
Yeah.
That when men oppress and dominate women, I think it's hurt people hurt
Others, for sure.
And so when I'm saying this about men, it's not that they haven't done wrong things to women.
No.
They really have. And we also need empathy as women for the decades and the years, centuries of being dominated, being treated less than, being treated inferior. The power is taken away from us. It's not a level playing field many times. And I think that if we start with the root of the problem and start to give men empathy, that they will be raised to have more empathy for women and then, have a much healthier life. That's what I think. Let's go to the root where it starts.
Makes sense. Yeah. Finally, what does it mean to be a good wife? Now, having walked the journey that you have walked.
Having walked this journey, I would say being emotionally attuned and nurturing.
Okay.
That you come into marriage and they tell you so many things. Ate okufukamira and okufumba and all those things. And nobody tells you that you need to nurture this human being.
Yeah.
You need to love them. You need to read them well and understand them.
Yeah.
So healing yourself as a woman and then being emotionally attuned and nurturing to your husband, to your children, to the wider community. I think that is what a good wife is.
I like that. And I will not add.
Thank you.
I'll not add. So this book is available on mahiri.com.
Correct. And on Amazon.
And on Amazon.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm the queen of soft life, so I'm not going to go to a bookshop.
Yes.
I had this delivered. But what was your favorite chapter? What was the chapter that you enjoyed writing the most?
Oh my gosh.
I was pointing out to you the places where I was like, this was so eye-opening.
My goodness, I love the entire book, let me tell you. Yes. I go back to different places and I love it, love
all of it.
Yes, I love all of it. I enjoyed writing all of it.
I really liked the balance between science and God and lived experience. You talk a lot about growing up and what that was like, the things you were told before you got married.
Yes.
I feel like you actually had a fair sense of yourself even before you got married.
Really?
A little bit.
I feel like I really did not know myself. Even now, I'm like still
you're figuring things out
myself. I'm this is a journey.
Yeah. No, this is a really good book. So get it on mahiri.com if you would like to. I think it will give you a good sense into who you are just by reading it and relating or not relating with Pendo's experience. It might help you understand your husband better. So get a copy of this book and read about Pendo and her journey to having a healthier and better marriage.
Thank
I
you.
usually have a little something for my guests. I don't know if not yet here. Oh dear, that's sad. I will
It's all
pass
right.
something on to you.
Thank you.
This channel is proudly partnered and supported by Risa Naturals. Risa Naturals are the makers of natural skincare products, natural body care products. So from butters to body scrubs and body oils. So I wanted to give you a little something. And then Newman's are the makers of snacks. So potato crisps, gonja, which you can take with you to the US.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so
I'm
much.
going to send something. And then, of course, TCN Studios, who are the people behind my content. If you are into the content creation
Good
space,
people. Yes.
amazing space. I told you, all my guests love
I
this
love it.
space.
I love it. Love it. Love it.
It's so beautiful and very affordable, professional. And so if you want to have your content delivered on time, you're not going to follow up people, this is the place to be, but above all, the set. So this is my set. When you come, they'll create for you your own. They'll create your own. So that's it from us this week. I hope you have enjoyed this episode as much as I have. Leave us a comment and, of course, give this episode a thumbs up and subscribe to The Good Wife. Until next week, goodbye.